At this time, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Housing Successor Agency and City Council to order. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Mora.
Present.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Rodriguez.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Zamora.
Here.
And Mayor Rounds.
Here. At this time, we'll do the invocation. I'd like to call upon Cindy Jarvis to lead us in the invocation.
They will spring up like grass in a meadow, like poplar trees by flowing streams. Isaiah 44:4. As the season of spring is almost upon us, let us all be grateful for another opportunity to share God's love. When we see flowers and plants bloom, remember this Bible verse. Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They toil not, neither do they spin. Matthew 6:28. When we see God's creation, give thanks in admiration. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us another season of life. We're grateful for each opportunity to present before us. May we all go out and share your love with others. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Cindy. At this time, I'd like to call upon Councilmember Rodriguez for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please put your hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Introductions. I'd like to introduce the following representatives from the Chamber of Commerce. First, we have Lisa Boyajian from Anza Insurance Services. Mark Gutierrez, Gilmore Automotive Group. And Kathy Fink, Santa Fe Springs CEO, Chamber of Commerce. Presentations. Proclamation National Women's History Month. I'd like to call upon Media and Communications Specialist Lorena. Where is she here? There you go. Come on up.
Good evening, Mayor Rounds and members of the City Council. Sorry, I'm very short. Today I stand before you to proclaim March as National Women's History Month in the city of Santa Fe Springs. This is a time to recognize and celebrate the countless contributions women have made to our city, nation, and the world. This year's theme, Women Who Advocate for Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, illuminates the tireless efforts of women throughout history who have fought to create a more just society. We begin by honoring the Tonga women, the native inhabitants of this land. They were the heart of the communities, embodying sustainability and social harmony. Their foundational spirit continues to inspire us today, setting a profound example of leadership and stewardship. As time progressed, the women of Santa Fe Springs emerged as powerful agents of change. Long before gaining the right to vote, our local women's clubs were more than social gatherings. They were revolutionary networks and engines of social progress. We celebrate yet acknowledge that the journey towards full equality continues. Women's history is not a static narrative, but a living, breathing movement that inspires action and reflection. It challenges us to build a future where all individuals can thrive regardless of gender. Therefore, the city of Santa Fe Springs proudly proclaims March as National Women's History Month. We encourage everyone to learn about, engage with, and honor the stories of women who have shaped our community and country. Before we call up our honorees, I'd like to give a brief description of both of our organizations. The Santa Fe Springs Women's Club has been a cornerstone of community service for decades. Through dedicated volunteerism and advocacy, they've supported local schools, senior programs, and charitable initiatives that form the backbone of our community. Their commitment has touched countless lives, creating programs that address our most pressing local needs. Would you please join me in welcoming the Santa Fe Springs Women's Club.
Are they gonna come
I'm fine. No, sorry. Until October, November. I am living in Downey now.
Do you want me to help you? You're gonna move it back anyway. I know. Before we move forward, I just wanted everyone to look at the screen because the photos up there are actually from one of our Santa Fe Springs history books of Seroptimus Club and a women's club from back in the day. Yeah. So for our next honorees, the term Seroptimus comes from Latin meaning best for women, and they've lived up to their name with remarkable dedication. As part of a global organization, they've championed women's economic empowerment, educational opportunities, and personal development. Would you please join me in welcoming the Seroptimus International of Santa Fe Springs.
Do you want, do I have to wait after you take it? Oh, really? Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to say a few words. I'm so proud to have all of our ladies here that have done so much for our community and our inner communities throughout the years. I am so proud that I was a part of the Seroptimus of Santa Fe Springs, focusing on women and girls for 16 years with Laurel Lanham, Marilyn Smith, and lots of other ladies. We're very proud ladies. They taught me so much on how to give back and volunteering, back-to-school shopping sprees, and it was just so much fun to be a part of all of it. And then I want to thank the Santa Fe Springs Women's Club for being a president, and we were presidents in Seroptimus as well. President for 7 years, and then 10 years being a member of this wonderful organization that gives back to our communities and works so hard for everything and to give, just to give back to our community. Thank you so much, ladies. Also, I wanted to give a big thank you to Isabel Cervantes and Hilda Zamora for all their work in the Women's Club and everything that you have donated and given of your time. You are the best women that I have had the pleasure to work with, all of you. So thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, women. Thank you for everything you do for us men and keep us on the straight line, right? Thank you. Mr. Boveda, are there any changes to the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, we have one change. This change was emailed to you and also the hard copy placed on the dais for you. The one change we have is the wireless telefax renewal fee. This item was mistakenly listed as a new fee, but it's actually an amended fee. And the listed amount that we had was $2,355, which is incorrect. The correct fee amount is $4,605. And the second is for flammable combustible liquid manufacturing fee. A previous listed fee was $260, and it's actually $2,675.
Thank you, sir. Public comments are now open. The public may address the city council on any non-public hearing item on the agenda or on any other matter within the council's jurisdiction. You will have an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes once the city clerk announces your name. City clerk, do we have any members of the public that wish to speak today?
Yes, Mayor, we have a few. Would you like to go first?
Hello, I'm Hector de la Torre. I'm the Executive Director of the Gateway Cities Council of Governments, of which you're a member. We are 27 cities, 11 unincorporated areas, over 2 million residents strong. If we were one city, and I'm not saying that we should be, we would be the 5th largest city in America. If we were one state, we'd be the 38th largest state in America. And yet, we're just a little piece of LA County. We work together to collaborate on issues that affect the region. So things like transportation, housing and homelessness, the environment, economic development, and health and wellness. So we work on all of those things. Councilwoman Martin and Joe Angel have been members of the board, and I'm sure some of you others have been before my time as a COG member. And so we are working on a number of initiatives, including the broadband initiative, which is huge for our area, over $100 million invested in all of our communities. We have the Southeast Gateway line, light rail, that'll be just south of here. And then the East Side Line extension, which I think even is gonna touch part of Santa Fe Springs. We're working on both of those. The 605 freeway project that finally has gotten loose a little bit, so we're gonna make some improvements there. So all of those things, we have a workforce investment project that we're gonna apply for a grant to connect all of our workforce development resources in the region. They talk to each other vertically in their immediate area, but they don't talk to each other horizontally across the whole region. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna bring them all together to communicate and serve the public. Our mandate at the Gateway Cities Council of Governments is one sentence: to improve the quality of life of our residents. That's it. So we're always looking for new opportunities to bring resources. And I just wanted to come and introduce myself, even though a lot of you know me already. Happy to answer any questions.
Mayor, may I?
Yeah, sure.
Hector, I just want to commend you and thank you. We had a meeting today with Jerry Caton, who's heading the Regional Fiber Network Committee. And for the residents in the region, it's a big statewide project. The state's putting in a lot of the backbone, and the COG is extending from the state's fiber line. And our line is going straight through Telegraph, and then it's going north-south on Orenday. So what that means for us is City Hall is going to be a hub. And from the hub, we're able to grow basically a Wi-Fi mesh throughout the entire city if we do this right, invest in it right, which will bring tons of opportunities, not just for businesses, but for connectivity for our residents. We do have a spot that I was told today that is not covered by any provider. And as part of this project, that area will now have a provider. The COG is going to do an RFP and hire a provider to provide that service. So we'll be able to provide Wi-Fi services to that area of town. But more importantly, it's just a global portion of what we're doing here. And I just want to commend you and your team. Phenomenal job. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's going to be much faster than anything else you can get. Somebody recently posted, they were really happy about their service with a private company, not here in our area, somewhere else. And their speeds were under 1,000 megabytes per second. The line we're bringing is 10,000 megabytes per second. So this is off the charts, top quality stuff for our region. And obviously, businesses, schools, the city, with your documents that people submit to you back and forth, will speed up, and the capacity will be that much greater. So we're really, really proud. It's unprecedented for our area. The project, the total project, with all the components that City Manager Bobadilla just mentioned, is $104 million for our area. We've never had that kind of money coming from anywhere into our region, and we're really, really proud of that.
So we will be on our way to becoming a smart city, so we're really excited about that.
Yes. You're already smart. You're going to be a little faster and smarter.
Just for some of you that don't know, Mr. De La Torre was a former assembly member, is that correct? And when he came to us to the COG, I mean, it just seemed like it changed the whole momentum of where we were at. We were in a constant fight with the county. I mean, we still are, of course, in Metro. But he has the resources as a lobbyist, not only in Sacramento, but also in DC. And it really helps us because when you have individuals that have shared stakeholders, I mean, as he does, whether they're still on the Assembly or still in Congress or Senate, even like over here, our attorney, his mom, Lucille Roybal Allard, all those type of things help us whenever we lobby for things. And I know we're going to be doing a telegraph corridor, and the city of Santa Fe Springs, it's going to be all the way from Commerce to La Mirada, and they're just going to focus on telegraph as a whole. And I think they're pumping in about $100 million there too, something like that. And of course, we're going to be, I mean, not just our city, but with all the cities together. But Commerce is number one. I think they're getting what, like 38 million, something like that. We're getting like 33 million. So these are, we're hoping that this will help us out. I had already brought up about the right turns on Telegraph and Oranday.
Yep.
To have the additional, so it gives us a chance to communicate and add to the feedback. And the thing that Mr. De La Torre brings is he brings the expertise, and it's making the COG a lot easier. There was a lot of infighting, people wanting certain area to come out stronger, and the way he looks at it, he wants everybody as a region to benefit, so he fights for all of us. When it comes to mental health, he's helped push for mental health and drug and alcohol addictions, not just homelessness, but he's pushing for these other things that before the county gave us major pushback, and he's like saying, hey, let's stand and fight, so it makes it easier just to work with him. So I just want to commend you also, like Mr. Bobadilla said, and I mean, they fight for grants, and then they come bring them to our cities, and they help us out so we can invest in them. So thank you, sir.
And Mayor Pro Tem, just as a side note, Mr. Enriquez is working closely with the COG and with our consultant to come up with a solution for Telegraph 605 and that traffic buildup, that bottleneck through Caltrans. So we have some plans that we'll be sharing with the council soon of how we think we can mitigate all that traffic.
Yeah, if there's ever something, the perfect example right now is in Norwalk, right? They have the end of the 105 at Studebaker. Incredible safety risk there. Even a CHP crashed there. That's how bad it is. And so nothing was happening. It was just, they put some of those barriers across the street because people had kept driving into the building that's right across the street. I mean, it's terrible. And so it was supposed to be part of the 605 plan, but that's going to take a while to build. And so we pulled it out of the 605 plan and said, no, we can't afford to wait until you do the whole project. That should be expedited and done now. And so Caltrans is now, has assigned their safety manager to put every safety measure they've got that fits in that circumstance, in that T, to fix it. And so we can do things like that. We're doing that. We're not just saying, oh, thank you, you're going to fix the 605. No, some things are urgent, and we have to move forward quicker. So, and that's not just in transportation, across all sectors. If there's ever anything that the city really, really wants to expedite, we're there.
Hector, Measure A, Option 5. Measure A, Option 5.
Well, you know, last week they said option 6 because that's how they do the best. The unincorporated areas do best under 6. And so that's what they're proposing. We're going to fight back. I told them today.
Thank you, Hector. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Mr.
thank
Mayor.
you.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Sure. Sure, or, yeah.
Just real quick, just to let you guys know, Measure H, the city, when it comes to our taxes, we were paying out $8 million. What was that, roughly for about 7 years? And we received zero money back. And now with Measure A, we're going to be giving $16 million of our taxpayer money. And this is why he's talking about, you know, and Renee's talking about, or Mr. Bobadilla's talking about, option 5 is best for us. Because since we get $0, we want some kind of skin in the game saying, hey, if we're giving you this much money and we don't get anything in return, it's not, you know. So, you know, this is something else I just wanted to clarify so you guys are aware. The type of fights that the council and, you know, sometimes in the closed sessions that, you know, it gets real difficult and real tough decisions. So, but Hector, thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. City Clerk?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to call upon Odalis.
Hi, good evening. My name is Odalis. I'm president of Metro Little League. First and foremost, I really want to thank everybody on council for supporting our league and allowing the board to do what we need to do to get this league up and running again from where it was to where it is now. Just a couple of facts. We're at 190 registrations, which surpassed spring of 2024. And between Enfuego and Metro Little League, we have sponsored 35 kids to be able to play for free. Most of these kids have never played ball before, and they're anywhere between you know, 4 to 14 years old. So it's been a blessing in disguise to be able to do this. We are going to have opening ceremonies on March 15th. We're planning a big, fun-filled family day with obstacle courses and a battlefield for the kids, and all the teams, 17 teams, get to put up a booth and sell stuff to raise money for their team individually. So with that said, I brought invites to formally invite all of you to attend opening day. And everybody else here, March 15th.
Mr. Mayor, may I? I just want to congratulate Odalis. They've been super impressive in their hard work and what they've done to take the program to where it is today. And congratulations, that takes a lot of work. And you know, all the time you're spending trying to get this thing fixed. I commend you because it does take, you get a lot of criticism, but at the same time, you're doing it for the right reason. So thank you for what you do for our kids, and to see the amount of people that signed up to what you had before, amazing work. And thank you for spending all that time away from home to do this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that.
I know it wasn't an easy task. There was a lot of stuff going on in between, but it's nice to see you here tonight with a smiling face and giving us the report that you have. So, you know, I was part of Metro for many, many years, and I'm glad it's back. Thank you for what you're doing and volunteering your time.
Yeah, we've done a lot of different things. Like, for example, this year I interviewed 20-some coaches, and not everybody went through the interview. So I interviewed them, and if I didn't feel they were qualified enough to coach, and they didn't have the integrity and didn't fit the vision that we have, then they didn't make it through. So our coaches are really dedicated to be there, and you can tell. And I think it's made all the difference in the world. So.
No, thank you, thank you. Priscilla, we'll make sure you get one of these, okay?
I have more.
Oh, please. Sure.
Mayor, I'd like to call upon Gabriel Fishman.
Good afternoon, Council. My name is Gabriel Fishman. I've been a resident of the city of Santa Fe Springs for 27 years. I purchased my home here 27 years ago at 10977 Davenport Street in Santa Fe Springs. I'm at the end of the cul-de-sac on Davenport Street, where the Santa Fe Springs Park is located. I am the very last house that butts up against the actual freeway where the 605 northbound to the 5 transition is. I'm the last house there. The reason I'm here right now in front of you is because I'm hoping I'm not falling on deaf ears or I'm at the right place again now. I just finished building an ADU, an additional dwelling unit, for those who may or may not know what that is. So I have a second home on my property. My wife and I, we moved into the house, and we're living in that house while we renovate the front house, hopefully for our children to move into. The reason I'm here is back last year, I want to believe it was in October, November, I had a concern because there's a massive tree that's in the city park, that is directly adjacent to where my new ADU is located. I was concerned when we had some winds that I heard cracking, and that if this tree is to collapse, it will fall without question on top of my new home. I went to building, and then I was directed to go talk to somebody in Public Works, and somebody came out to my house, and he showed up, looked at it, took a few pictures, said, we'll follow up, and I never heard anything back. Now, during the fires and the high winds, I was actually out of the country, and in the process, a portion of the tree fell, and it landed, fortunately, on the city side. Nobody ever came to, I never made a claim or said anything about it because it was on the city park side. Now, city has its maintenance crew who comes and cleans the park once every week or every other week. The crew kept on going around it and not picking it up to clean it up. What happens is, because where my house is located, being the farthest south end of the park, where Santa Fe Springs is, it's a dead end where like nobody goes. So I deal with homeless people who go and camp out there. I deal with people come and do graffiti back there. I've requested people, the city or the crew to come and clean up the fence line, and they haven't done so. So I'm here in asking of your help to get the right people out there to clean this tree up, and maybe even the fence line, so that I could avoid the homeless that are back there, because while I'm there, they don't come out there, because if I could see. So I thank you for your time.
Our Public Works Director, James Enriquez, and our Public Services Director, Arlene Salazar, will meet you outside in the foyer, and they can talk to you a little bit more about follow-up, if that's okay. Thank you.
And thank you, sir. Thank you. City Clerk, or is there anyone else wishing to speak?
That concludes our speakers.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll close public comments and move on to the next item. Mr. Bobadilla, do we have any staff communications?
We have no communications tonight, Mayor.
Next is a public hearing, resolution number 9947, amending the city's comprehensive fee schedule. I'd like to call upon Mr. Bobadilla.
So thank you, Mayor. This is a resolution which is amending the resolution that was previously approved by the council on November 12th. And it was adopted on November 12th. There's a typo. It should have been 2024, not 2025. But in this particular approval, you approved the new fee study, fee schedule for fiscal year 24-25. And we are asking that you consider the changes that are requested, and I'd like to read into the record the changes that were made. There was 2 changes to the record. Mr. Mayor, if you give me a second to pull them up. The first change was for wireless telefax renewal fee. This item was mistakenly listed as a new fee, but it's actually an amended fee. The listed dollar amount was listed as $2,355. The correct amount is actually $4,605. The second change is flammable combustible liquid manufacturing fee. We listed it as $260, and the actual fee should have been $2,675. And those are the changes that are being requested. And there's also some other requests as part of this that are part of the staff report, and we have staff available if council has any questions, Mayor.
Let me open the public hearing first. Is anyone wishing to be heard and approach the podium and state your name if so? Seeing none, public hearing is now closed.
Mayor, before you close it, if I may, I just want to make sure that it's clear for the record while the public hearing is open that we're going to incorporate the changes that were just articulated by the city manager into this resolution before you.
Is everybody okay with that? Okay. So now the public hearing is now closed. I'd like to, is there any discussion or a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve with the recommendations.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Regular business, adoption of a reserve policy. I'd like to call upon Mr. Bobadilla.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As part of our cleanup work, and we're actually pursuing a bond for Measure SFS and road repair, we wanted to formally adopt our reserve policy. We have a presentation for you to kind of give you a quick understanding of what this is and why we're doing it. Lana?
Good evenings, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Before you is the reserve policy. I would like to ask the city manager's help to tell us a little bit the backgrounds and what and why we needed it.
So the reserve policy, it's actually a financial plan, and it sets aside funds to meet future needs and protect against any financial instability. And when we've been talking to you about that, we talk about buckets, right? You've seen the presentation, we show you all these buckets. And what we're doing is really putting money away for future uncertainty. We have buckets for economic uncertainty. If we have another COVID situation, we have dollars that can support our businesses, or we may have a bucket for infrastructure, and we want to invest in future infrastructure. We also have a bucket for our general fund reserve. And you all set the policy and the limits for those, and they're, as you can see in your staff report, and Lana will talk a little bit about that. But these policies send a positive signal to the community and our ratepayers and our bondholder rating agencies and regulatory agencies that the city is committed to long-term financial health and viability. And it's important to signal that because we're being fiduciaries and ensuring that our money is being invested properly and being put away for a rainy day. So we're really excited about this new policy, and Lana will talk a little bit more about it.
Before going to all the buckets, I would like you to imagining that you have a whole year of funding in your saving account to pay for all your expenses. You don't have to worry about mortgage payment. You don't have to worry about car payments, insurance, tax, and that would allow you time to figure out issues, problem, before you find the next income generator. So I want you to keep that thought as we move into the various bucket of reserve. that is the reserve policy. This is the reserve policy, and this is the recommended order of priorities that we would like you to maintain and replenish for the reserve. Given that 55% of our revenue source coming from sales tax, which is highly volatile, that's why that we would recommend a higher level of reserve to allow for the rainy days. We're recommending 40% of operating expenses, which is equivalent to $41 million. Currently, we are at $50 million. The next one is risk management.
So Lana, before you continue, so what Lana's saying that if we have a major catastrophe and we don't have any revenue, we have enough revenue for 6 months to cover all our expenses. So half of our operating expense. The recommended rate is 30?
40%.
40%.
Yes.
So we are at roughly at 50 right now, which is amazing for the city to have that.
We're currently at 120. That is, yeah.
Correct.
With the $50 million, we're currently at about 120% of what we recommended. So going to the risk management, that is the area that being overseen by a lot of agencies, but it's very critical to maintain financial security for settlement, legal-related issues. We're recommending 1 to 5% of annual revenues, which is equivalent to $1 to $5 million. We're currently at 900,000. Unexpected events. Similar to risk management, we should maintain a reserve for natural disaster. Who know, weather is very unpredictable these days. Last week it said it's gonna rain, and I didn't see it coming. So we're recommending 100,000. We currently have 1 million in the bucket, just in case if anything happens. Economic contingency. This would observe at least 1 to 2 years of fluctuation in revenue or expenditures due to market conditions. So this gives a buffer to our operating budget to mitigate revenue loss. We're recommending 5 to 10% of operating expenses, which is equivalent to from 5 to 10 million. Currently, we have $10.7 million in the bucket. Renovations and replacement help to maintain the aging facilities and infrastructure. We're recommending 25% of facility fees, which equivalent to $162,000. We currently have $250,000 in the bucket.
On this particular fee, I'm very proud of this fee. This is something the council enacted about a little over a year ago. And what this really is doing, for every dollar that we generate from the rental of the Clark Estate or Town Hall Center, those fees, 25 cents of every dollar goes back to this R&R account. And we're able to use that to restore, paint, patch, fix, upgrade our facilities, where before we weren't accommodating that, and it was going back to the general fund. Now we have a bucket specifically for that, so we can keep our facilities looking pristine all the time.
Vehicle and equipment replacements. This allows us to replace essential equipment for you to serve the public. We want to ensure that we have that bucket to be able to do that when we need it. We're recommending 5 to 10% of equipment costs, which equivalent to between $71,000 to $143,000. We currently have $7.3 million in the bucket. Pension trust fund. This is a restricted trust fund. And if you remember from the prior presentation that our financial advisor did, currently our unfunded liabilities is at $165 million. It's going to take us another 20 years in order to pay it up. At some point within the next couple of years, it will top out $17 million per year. So this particular bucket is crucial to ensure that we have ongoing funding and doesn't impact our operating budgets. We are recommending $3 million. We currently.
So I'm sorry, Lana, so your pension trust fund is like, you're a young parent, you have a child, and your child's eventually gonna go to college, and you're saving up for what the college costs us today, and you say, no, it's probably gonna cost me $100,000, but when your children, 18, 19 years after, the cost of college is probably gonna be $300,000 to $400,000, and if you're only putting up $100,000, you're gonna have a delta. So same thing with our pension trust fund, we have pension liability, and we need to be putting away more to account for that future cost. So that's something that council has made a commitment to $3 million per year. We've accumulated about $26.2 million. We're hoping that as we have money, and we do well in our budgets, that's money we continue to fund and maybe overfund as we go.
Leave and related payout reserve ensures that we have enough funding to pay annuals payout according to labor agreements, MOUs related. We are recommending 25% of our liability, which is equivalent to $538,000. We currently have $7.3 million in there.
So technically, everybody could quit today, and we have plenty of money to pay everybody out. So we're making changes to that.
Right. Capital project funds, as we know that majority of our capital funds coming from restricted source of grant, and those restricted source is based on populations. Anything that based on populations base, we don't get a lot. So we would like to recommend a $3,000 as a reserve to help moving things forward. We currently have $35 million in there, and until we get Measure SFS to help with that.
So $3 million and then $3 million per year is our target level. We've accumulated $35 million. We still have projects that we're currently working on that's going to deplete a lot of that money. But I think to Lana's point, we have a lot of money in our buckets, and that's something during the budget study session, we're going to reallocate some of these funds. One of the things we're talking about internally is a Beautify SFS campaign. And we want, as we start repairing all our roads with Measure SFS, we want to make sure we implement some of this money back into our medians, our sidewalks, our curb, our gutters. As we walk around town, we see a lot of deficiencies in our sidewalks, so we want to invest heavily in repairing all our sidewalks in our residential areas and our commercial thoroughfares. So we want to put all this money back into our infrastructure. So that's something we'll be bringing back to the council during our budget study session.
And the CIP is probably the most noticeable projects that the residents see. You don't see stuff when we do it underground or inside a building or something. What you're seeing now, as the city manager alluded to, was the sidewalks going on both the north and the south sides of Santa Fe Springs. And we're upgrading the streets, the sidewalks, the ADA ramps. And so that's the ones that you guys see. And that's where that money's going for. So, I mean, to have $35 million in that, and even though some of it's already accounted for, I think the city's definitely headed in the right direction and making the city a safe place for all of our residents to live in.
Over the course of the next 5 to 10 years, you're going to see tons of construction going on throughout the city. The $30 million bond, we should have cash in hand by April. That'll kickstart the first tranche of money to start the paving of Measure SFS, along with everything else, the swimming pool project, some city hall projects, and major infrastructure projects throughout the city. So there's going to be a lot of construction throughout the city, so please be patient with us. We're calling it progress.
Last reserve, Water Enterprise Fund Reserve. Our financial advisor recommend that we at least keep 40% of our operating expenditure in the reserve, which is equivalent to $7.8 million. We currently have $8.4 million in there, but just know that the $8.4 million is all, we save it for capital project fund that wasn't able to use, but we have to fund.
Just know that this was $12 million last year, and it's down to 8, and that the rate we're going, it'll be down to 4, and then it'll probably be down to 0. So we'll be talking to the council about that in our budget study session, about where we're at, and continue that conversation.
So that wrap up all my buckets that we have. I'm more than happy to take any questions.
Actually, just a comment, just even last council meeting, there was a lot of numbers that you brought up, very overwhelming. And then after you sit back after the meeting, you look at all the stuff, it's amazing how much we have saved and how much we've done things differently. And just commend you, Renee, Lana, your staff, all you guys. I mean, we couldn't be where we're at now if it wasn't for you. I mean, Nick's the quiet one over there, but he's part of this just as much as the rest of the group. And I like to commend, like I said, we see how much money we have in reserves, how much money we have in just the budget and what's going on. And a lot of people don't see what's going on behind the scenes. And when you bring all these numbers out, when you really look at it, it's amazing. So thank you. I mean, being on council, you guys are the ones that do the hard work. We look at it, we approve it, but you guys look at every which way you can improve the city, what you guys can do, but still save us money. And thank you. Thank you so much for what you guys are doing, and it makes a big difference.
It's definitely a team effort, and kudos to the council for allowing us to do the things that we do, and we're definitely trying to become efficient and look at ways that we can think out of the box and just create a better quality of life for our residents. So we're working hard to ensure that happens.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lana. And thank you, Renee, and all of our staff. Is there any other discussion, or do I have a motion for approval of item number 3?
We'll move.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So ordered. Next, consent calendar. Housing successor agency, and city council consent calendar. We have a total of 13 items, numbers 4 through 16. Is there a motion and approval for the consent calendar? There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Appointments to boards, committees, and commissions. Councilmember Mora?
None tonight, Mayor?
Councilmember Martin? Councilmember Rodriguez? Mayor Pro Tem Zamora?
None tonight.
And I have no appointments. City council comments, AB 1234, council conference reporting. Councilmember Mora?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No conference to report on yet. I will have one by next time. But just a quick comment with, our money, everybody's money here. We have an incredible management team. Lana, her expertise in finances is incredible. And all of us up here, we are stewards of your money. This is your money that we're working with. And we want to make sure that you guys know exactly where it's going. This is the reason that, our new city management team has put together the workshops. You guys can see everything, everywhere where the money goes, what's coming in, what's being paid out. And not too many cities do this. We're not going to be like Huntington Park or somebody else, but anyway, or any other city, describe it. Sorry, too soon. Or some other cities, but no, we're obviously we're very transparent. You guys know exactly what's going on. So, but really, ever since Renee and Nick have come on board, and they really spearheaded this whole movement, and then the management teams that we've got here, from finance, every City Hall, it's incredible. So, I'm so happy to be back working under this very, very strong team. So, thank you all for that. Women's Club and Straussman's Club, congratulations, and thank you for everything that you guys do. It's just incredible what you guys do, right where everybody sees it, and also everything that you do behind the scenes. And also just a quick mention of the Silver Shield Awards that we attended last week. What an incredible event. Our police officers do so much, and this was a celebrating our police officers and what they do in the community every single day in, day out. And there were some, that were acknowledged for some of their efforts that they did. But all in all, it was just a celebration of our police. And I want to quote our mayor from Whittier, that we're not going to defund the police, we defend our police. When something goes wrong, who's the first ones you call? It's our police officers. And so those cities that enacted that defunding a while back ago, oh, they're in a world of hurt. And we're not going to do that. We stand behind our police force because they're here to protect us. But with that said, thank you, everybody, for being here, and have a good night.
Thank you. Councilmember Martin?
Again, yes, the Silver Shields Woods, like I said, it was great. Aaron, we couldn't have the best, and you guys exceeded, and we can't do enough for you. Just thank you so much, and I feel bad that at our last council meeting that it was Keith Boyer's anniversary, and we should have remembered him. And just know that we've never have forgotten them. I mean, we were there when it happened, and it's something that you don't want to ever relive that again. So just know that apologies for not acknowledging Keith Boyer's anniversary, but know that we're with you 110%, with you and your officers always. The budget, it's great. It's the numbers are outstanding, and thank you again so much for our staff. It's great that last week me and Joy Angel had a meeting with a consultant, and it was great to us to have a meeting to say, what do we want in our city? Not limited to what we can afford or what we're looking at. It's literally, what do we want? What do our residents need in the city? And it's great that we're able to give out ideas and actually know that it's probably going to come true. It's actually going to be a reality, and we're going to have new things coming out. So like Renee said, there's a lot of good things coming on in the city. So I'm looking forward to that. The job fair that the city had was great. It was at the Betty Wilson Center, and it was packed. It was beyond packed. It was great to see all these kids wanting to be park and rec and public safety officers. It was great to see that it's alive. Our city is so much alive. Last week I went on another adventure that Cindy has us going on. We did another school. We did a teacher's lounge with all the support that her Santa Fe Springs Christian did donated. And when you're there, this school does not know they didn't even know where Santa Fe Springs was. They did not know where Santa Fe Springs at. Like, how far away is it? Like 605 and 5. Like, there's actually a city there? Like, yes. And how big is it? And you tell them how many residents. And knowing what a small private school like Santa Fe Springs Christian School did, and I know Wendy helped us at Tangram too, but what was accomplished, you have no idea how grateful they were that they can't even thank us enough. They want to come to our city. They really want to come to our city and say, what are you guys about? And it's so great knowing that, being a council member and seeing that people never heard of our cities, but once they know what we've done, they want to come and look at our city. They want to know, what do we have going on? They want to come and check out our garden. They want to do all this stuff, and it's thank you again, Cindy. Thank you. And it being Women's Month, I don't know if I said it last time, but I mean Cindy. Cindy again got Woman of the Year. Now for last year she got it for Senate, and now she got it for Assemblywoman. So Woman of the Year. So it's well deserved, Cindy. Thank you for being. It's every time I get a phone call from Cindy, she says, "Are you available from this time?" Sure. What are we gonna do? But thank you. Thank you so much for being so small of a community and doing such great things. It's people like you that make our city great. So thank you so much. And on that, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Rodriguez.
Good evening, everyone. Where is she? Londa, thank you for the budget. All of us are wanting this budget to help our residents, to help our seniors, home improvement programs. Remember those? We want to get back there. We want to get back to that point where we can help our seniors and our residents get a new garage door or fix the ceiling or air conditioning units. We want to get to that place again, and it looks like we're getting there. We're doing a fabulous job, and again, I want to thank the staff and everybody that has a part of this and working so hard to make sure that, crunching the numbers to make sure that we will get there. I went on a conference. I was appointed to the liaison for the LA CADA. I went on a conference to talk about mental illness, and we had a person that jumped off the Golden State Bridge and talked about it, and he actually survived and talked about it. It's suicide is no joke, especially when you want to commit suicide and then you live through it, and that you're glad that you were able to come out of it. Drug addiction and human relations, and talked about OSHA and what safety means and how important it is. We look around City Hall, but we don't know all the safety and precautions that we have to go through to make sure that you can come into City Hall and keep it safe for our residents. But our city manager and our staff here have to make sure that we are OSHA in compliance to make sure that it's safe for all of us to be here. I wanted to thank our Mayor Pro Tem. We weren't able to go to the Silver Shields because our Mayor Pro Tem has a quarter mania with the LEAF program to make sure that we have money for our students to give back for scholarships and all sorts of other events that our kids can go to. So I wanted to thank you for making all this money because it had 30 tables. This quarter mania had 30 tables, and it was packed. And we had lots of fun. I wanted to thank Hilda Zamora and Isabel Cervantes and Mary Arias for being on the board and really pushing to make it a successful event. So thank you very much. When I was in the conference for the LA CATA, they told us, you know, I've been a mentor for 11 years at Santa Fe High School, but continue to do it. And so, again, my mentee, I called her, and she's also on the youth leadership. I called her and I asked her to be in this council meeting. And although some of it might be, you know, new to you, can you raise your hand so everybody can see my mentee? And that is Lilana, and she goes to Santa Fe High School, and she's in the 11th grade, and she also has a ninth grade sister and a little brother, and they're the cutest, and they're even getting into sports and being involved in the community, their family. They've been living in Santa Fe Springs for a year, so we're encouraging them to get involved. But they told me, be a mentor again, go out and spread what you know and get these young people out there to do the things that us oldies, when I get too tired and you know, can't get up in the morning, I have a mentee that will get up, she's strong, she can do what I used to do. So I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to tell you what I've done, okay? Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Zamora?
First off, thank you all for being here, and just may God always bless you guys, and that you may always keep us accountable. I mean, that's what we need. Sometimes we sink in and we just don't realize that what's going on in the news and what's going on around in different parts of the country, I mean, sometimes it's not happening here. And, you know, you look at other entities, whether it be school districts and everything else, I mean, they're struggling. And this is why it's important that whenever we make decisions, that we make them because it's for the future, you know? I mean, everything we do, you know, we make a decision, and I know that we pray to God and just ask God, you know, just to guide it, because sometimes it's that hope, wondering, man, I hope this does work out, because we don't know what's going to happen. You know, having a new management around, it makes it easier. New legal makes it a lot easier for us. I think we're getting the wording and the messaging that we need to know. It makes it a lot easier just to be able to progress and move forward. So thank you guys. I just want to commend you and Lana for everything you do, because it is important that we have our numbers correct, because how else are we going to pay the bills, and how else are we going to move this city forward? So thank you guys. Just want to start that off. Other than that, I mean, just to echo what Juanita said, I mean, when we met with the consultant, it was great, because you're realizing that, hey, we're planning on building, and we're open for business, and you know, and just giving that individual saying, and I believe everybody had the opportunity to meet, and you know, it's kind of like a pep talk saying, this is what our vision is, and now go execute it. So it makes it easier for us to be in the same room. I think that's the first time Juanita and I have ever been in a meeting together like that, and it was great to see that, you know, where we're at, and just, you know, the fact of being able to progress, and, you know, just to say, hey, let's move our city forward in the right direction. Women's History Month, it was great to see today in the classroom that that's what we had to talk about. I mean, because some of the kids were like, what is that? And, you know, so, you know, just going over it with them and just explaining to them the importance of how and where women used to be. We actually read the Book of the Giving Tree. And for those of you who don't know, the Book of the Giving Tree, it's about a book that just gives so much. And, you know, and I was explaining to them, it's like, you know, how much a woman does. I mean, they'll give everything off their back, their limbs, and to the point where the tree became a stump, you know. and and eventually the old boy decided to say, well, I'm just tired now, I just want to sit. And, we were making the correlation of, how much women do. And when I asked the kids, what did you learn from this? What did you see about what correlation can you make? And it was just amazing because this is like a first grade, second grade classroom. A kid raises his hand, and when you pick on this kid, you just know it might be just something just like wow, and to my surprise, it never ceases to amaze me. He decides to say, he said, well, it's God who gave us everything first. And I was just looking at him like, and then the next kid said, well, it was God who sacrificed his son on the cross for us. And I'm looking around like, wow, like, and even the aide in there, she's just like, what's happening in this class? This class is never usually like this, And then, so it's just great to see that our youth and the belief in God is just not, and, another one did bring up Jesus and how he died on the cross and saved us all. So it was just great to see. And then eventually we talked about parents and the importance of mothers, how much mothers, sisters, aunties, grandmas just play a pivotal role. I mean, without you women, honestly, we wouldn't be here. I know, I know I can always say without God, but I know, behind God after that, it's you women that just really push us in the right direction. So I mean, without a mother, I mean, none of us would be born. So without a mother, I don't think any of us would be up here today. So I do want to just thank my mom. Just thank you for just being that rock and just doing everything that you need to do. Aviv, sorry I couldn't show up to or Aaron, my bad. I can't see because we got this podium right here, so thank you. Sorry I couldn't go to the Silver Shields. When we made this date, we didn't realize it was going to be on the same day as you guys. We made this date back in, last year sometime. So we did do quite well. Happy to say that we probably raised over $20,000 in profit. So technically it was about $27,000, but what we paid out, so our profit was over $20,000 so far. We still have some checks coming in, so I do too want to thank my mom, Mary and Isabel, Annette. Thank you for the support, and of course the City of Santa Fe Springs for your guys' support in helping out Leaf and our children of our community. Also, I did want to bring up when it came to our staff, when they gave our young, possibly Parks and Recs and Public Safety, they did an amazing job, like Juanita said. I mean, it was a packed house. I got there after her, so when you saw all these kids in there, it was just great to see because you tell these kids, everybody comes to you, like, and I'm pretty sure they come to all of us and say, in June, I want my kid to work, but you're like, it's a summer job. Why didn't they come? I go, you got to apply in February, not June that day thinking you're going to get a job tomorrow. So it's great to see these kids that, have the accountability and, that they did decide to come early. So other than that, I mean, Odalis, what you're doing with the league is truly amazing. I mean, I do commend you and your team and your sidekick, Sharon, thank you very much because honestly, I thought the league was just over. And we had a league like that, but in football it was the 49ers. It just got, once certain people left, then chaos happened. It just got dismantled. From there, it never survived. So what you guys are doing, it's good for our kids. And it's good for their mental well-being and their state of mind. So thank you guys. So once again, I just ask God to always bless the City of Santa Fe Springs, and may God always bless our women in our community. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Well, as always, being the last person, it's all been said once again. But I do have one thing left that nobody else mentioned, is I was able to, because I am retired, to attend a diversity summit at Santa Fe High. Every year, the Santa Fe High puts it on and with the City of Santa Fe Springs, and they bring a guest speaker in. And this guy was amazing. amazing. He was from Puerto Rico, but I don't know if you went to it at all, but.
I went to the meet and greet after.
Okay, so he had quite a story, and growing up, he was always afraid to ask questions in school, and he didn't know why. You know, he got embarrassed to ask the teacher, "What did you say? What did you see?" He was like 10 years old before he realized he was deaf. He was deaf, and that's why he couldn't hear what was going on. And today, he went on about other things, but in his experiences, and he came from nothing to what he's the first one in his family to graduate and from college. And he's got a whole organization now. He goes around speaking, but the tragedies that he's gone through in his own family. But there was dead silence during this whole time. He was so good at speaking, and the kids just listened to him, and they really got into it. So I want to thank Rick Brown for his part in that, and Paul for his part in just coordinating with the Santa Fe High. It was great. So I know it was mentioned earlier about the budget. I would love a personal invitation right now to attend one or all of our budget meetings. Come see what your city's all about. We're going to start what month?
Starting in April, Mayor.
Okay. Look at the calendar. It's probably going to be on a weekend again. And please come in and listen. You're going to find out where your money's going to.
Tell them how many hours.
There will be refreshments.
Let them know how long it's going to be.
You can come and go if you want. But I mean, it could go for 4, 5, 6 hours. But you don't have to be there for the whole time. Just come and be part of it. And we take questions from the audience too. So please do that. Again, Santa Fe Springs residents, thank you for what you do. Thank you for being part of our city. And Women in the Yellow, thank you for the Women's Club. I mean, it's good to see so many of you here tonight. And Seroptimus, one person left. No, Peggy. Wasn't she with she's with the Women's Club. Well, I'll give you credit for being with the Seroptimus, okay? Okay. But thank you once again. And don't forget, Spring Ahead Sunday with your clocks. And everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy the rain we have. So at this time, the meeting's adjourned. Yeah, in the rain.
I had a chance to go speak